Obviously, there's a lot happening out there.
Yes.
And, you know, a word that's really disappearing, and I know you want to talk about it, it's called pension.
Right. That used to be the carrot, right?
Yeah.
The way to incentivize employees to stay for longer. But I read this statistic, back in 1998, 50% of Fortune 500 companies would offer their new hires pensions. That number has dropped drastically to 7%.
7%?
So you can see how it's changing. Yeah.
Wow. Jen, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to talk about this more.
Great.
Two great guests joining me today. Dr. Woody is here. Our good friend, Mike Woodward, is part of our team, and also Robin DeMarco, life coach. Thank you both for being here today.
Yeah,
It's great to be back.
Yeah, we start the new year off trying to help people out, as always.
Always.
Yeah, and, you know, we just heard a lot of this. You know, a lot of young people today have a different view of work compared to boomers, okay? What do you think?
Well, let's face it, the recession left a bad taste with a lot of these young folks because they found out that companies weren't as loyal to them as they were to those companies. So what they found is that they need to be loyal to themselves and find their own way, and part of that was kind of hopping around to discover their own path.
And now it seems that with the recession sort of, you know, easing off a little bit, that more and more people are saying, you know what, I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to take a little risk here.
Yeah, I think they're much more adventurous. I mean, the clients that I'm looking at, they're always kind of reevaluating their jobs. What are they looking for in basically whatever they're doing, and they always are wanting to expand their skill set and their knowledge, and always really wanting to be challenged. There's no such thing kind of as coasting anymore.
Yes.
Right, which is interesting. I mean, there were coasters when I was that age.
Right. But you know, the risk factor. A lot of people say, you know, if you don't take any risk, you know, you're just not going to make any gains here. Do you believe in that?
Yeah, absolutely. And part of it is exploratory. So research has found that about a third of job hoppers actually change industries. So that, to me, suggests they're trying to kind of find their way. And, you know, most times that first job you pick probably isn't the right fit. So I think it's okay earlier in your career to explore, but explore with purpose, not just be whimsical about it and kind of float around or coast.
And what industries are you finding the most turnover?
I would say technology is a big industry. I think that startup culture has really kind of made people wanting to jump around, or they get excited. Right. And sometimes with the training, it's you're working on different projects, so you're learning pretty quickly. It's not as big of a training curve, which allows you to be able to jump around.
Where else, Dr. Woody?
Certainly retail, hospitality, any of those kind of cyclical, seasonal type company or industries. Also entertainment, any of the project-oriented, like you mentioned. I think that where there may be kind of short stints naturally, where it's natural to hop around. You know, but at the end of the day, to me, it's really about making sure you're finding what you want and then sticking with it, because there is a point of diminishing returns with the job hopping. So early on it makes sense, but make sure you're actively trying to find your way.
And you also, I know you talked about it, you also have to be careful. If you deal with some brands, some good top brands, that helps the resume as well, rather than some unknown companies if you're going to move around.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think it's really important that you're always very strategic about the moves that you're going to make. So if you have to tell that story to that prospective employer, why did you make that move? What skills did you learn? You know, where were you expanding, and kind of how were you getting to that, as Dr. Woody said, that ultimate goal?
Best advice?
I believe in writing your own narrative. So don't worry too much about what the recruiters are going to think, but be ready to explain it and have an end state in mind, and think like a chess player. Every move you make should be getting you towards that goal, not away from it.
And that's what you tell your clients as well, I know, Robin.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you do decide to leave, kind of leave on a good note. You know, you want to keep these relationships. I still have close relationships with when I was in sales for years with all of my bosses, and I think that is so important.
Don't burn any of those bridges. You never know what's coming around that bend, right?
Exactly.
Robin, Dr. Woody, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good information
Appreciate
today.
it.
All right, I have a lot more to tell you about tonight. There are a lot of amazing